Hi, thank you all for joining me. My name is MiLinda Smith, and I'm going to show you today how to paint this painting. 4th of July is coming up soon, so I thought we would work on something a little bit patriotic. Something that I had already mentioned to the rest of the group, but I want to mention to you is I really encourage you to make this your own. Express yourself in this. So, like when we get into the silhouette part, you can copy this if you want, but I would highly suggest just do something that is a little more unique, maybe your own house as a silhouette, or your favorite place to go. We're gonna just work on applying it to this corner here. I want it to fade out. Let me have to paint like this because I don't paint very well. So we're gonna just apply a nice light coat. I tend to do a couple coats on things. It makes blending look a lot smoother. And I just dipped my brush in the water to make the paint go a little bit smoother. This doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be, like I said, we're gonna do a quick second coat in a little bit to make the blending look a little bit nicer. And I want my blue to fade out just a little bit right here. Now you need to do a little bit of planning. How many stripes does the flag have? 13. Yeah. I was like, anybody. And then the middle stripe is a white stripe. So for me, I know you're painting white on white, but it's gonna be wet, so you're gonna be able to see it. I want to put kind of a stripe right through the middle, just so I have a reference point. This is where you have to kind of plan these out. So you have your white stripe, and then we're gonna have a red stripe. And as I start doing these stripes, these brushes, if you come backwards on this, you're gonna have a solid line. So if you come in and drag it, you're gonna have a nice fade. So I would kind of keep dragging it. This is okay because our sky is gonna have blue in it throughout. So we're gonna plan our stripes. We've got in the middle, I have to do my math, 1, 2, 3. So I am going back and forth right here, but as soon as I want it to fade out, I'm gonna drag it from there. So the third red up can be very faint. Don't even worry about that because that's going to be where your silhouette is on here. It's more of a reference point. You're going to see some blending, some pink, some bluish, maybe even some purple. All of that is okay. We're going to make the lake water first. So I'm using the mixture I already have of blue. And then I'm going to add some green into there, a dollop, I guess. Yeah, I'm going for kind of this turquoisey, faded color. And then once I get the color that I like, I'm going to add, because there's no sun left and we don't have bright sun shining on our water, I'm going to add some black in there, and we're going to make just this kind of tone of gray. And then my water is all the way at the bottom, and I'm not too, because I still have my black to go, right? So I don't want this even, because when you look at a lake or anything, there's always going to be like little points that shoot off, or there might be a wave that comes up to block off some of the land. I'm not worried about it being a perfect horizon. And then since I don't have that wet paint to kind of show up that last little red stripe at the bottom, I'm going to add just a little bit in. Reflections. The water has a lot of character. It's not just a flat color. I'm going to, depending on how big I want my tree, I'm going to first do the stump or the wooded part in with my round brush. So I'm going to get it a little wet, dab it off, take some black, and then depending on where I want it coming out from, if it's out on the horizon, then I would start at the horizon line, but most of the time you're going to see a tree that's somewhere within the horizon or within your land. So you can start from the top or the bottom, it doesn't really matter, and just drag it down. And then I'm going to take my flat brush, and it doesn't really need to be clean because it's black already. So. And depending on how thick I want the pine needles or the branches, you might, for your first time, until you get to understand the technique or get to experience it, you might load your brush and then just dab it off slightly so it's not full of paint. And then you're just going to start dabbing down . And then once you start to understand how loaded it's going to get, you can, oops, we're going to have a really wide stubby tree. So next we're going to do a deciduous tree. The branches, or like the leaves, are still pretty much the same, but the branches are going to be different. But I like to start from the bottom because you're going to have kind of a root system that's coming up. And let your brush do the painting, meaning don't try to do a hard line, because branches have all kinds of weird twists and corners and thicker spaces and thinner spaces. So what I mean by let your brush do the painting is like barely press on it and just let it move how it wants to move. My last tree that I would say is like a palm tree if you're feeling like this is a tropically place. Because I paint a lot of palm trees. Same idea, rarely is a palm tree just totally straight. They usually have some sort of crooks. And then you're going to drag your leaf out, your big palm leaves, and then you're going to just kind of flick your brush. So you're going to drag a leaf out and then flick your brush. I'm just doing kind of a starburst.